Welcome back to a best of 3 series of top level StarCraft 2. What I've got for you today is a Protoss versus Zerg, where in game number 1 we find ourselves on Ultra Love. And right from the get-go, look, this upsets me a little bit about Ultra Love. So we have like the red LEDs right over here in the top right hand corner, but the player is in blue. And then we have the blue corner in the bottom left, but the player is in red. Now, with the Protoss pieces, we have none other than Hero and his opponent in the top right with the blue Zerg drones. We're looking at Solar's main hatchery. I've mentioned this a couple of times now, and nobody ever seems to be bothered by it. Everybody's like, yeah, whatever. Look, it bothers me, okay? Why did we make the color so bright if it doesn't matter? If it's irrelevant to you, game? Yeah, there's a little bit of RNG. You never know which position on the map you're going to spawn on until the game loads up. Maybe the color should have been like green and yellow or something. That would have been better. In the first version of Ultra Love, the map wasn't quite this bright. In the final version, I guess we had some extra LEDs installed. It looks kind of cool. This is a real gamer map. I remember I used to have a lot of LEDs in my gaming setup and stuff, and I was always, you know, I was the glowy guy, right? Like we had a lot of glow in my computer case and all that. These days, honestly, with my most recent computer, I kind of considered not even having a case with a window. I know. I am old and boring. Anyways, Hero going for what seems to be a very normal start here. We're gonna go into that Nexus and then into a Cyber Core as well. On the back of this, nothing all too weird. In the meantime, Solar is gonna be going for what seems to be the good old triple hedge build. Should send one more drone into the gas geyser, and we are gonna be starting up that Zergling speed at a reasonable time. There's indeed the third hedge. Lucky for me, by the way, it seems like Solar is in agreement. He's covering up all of the LEDs with creep. Yeah, very good. That's what we want to see. Now, with the new multiplayer balance patch, Skytoss has become very popular. Not just on the ladder. I mean, it's always been popular on the ladder, but also at the pro level. Stargate openers were already the gold standard, but now with the energy recharge ability that basically is replacing the shield battery overcharge ability, you can recharge some of your spellcasters a bit easier. And obviously Oracle openers, well, they already were the gold standard. They have been the gold standard ever since the Void Ray meta. And they're just better now. Like, they're just better. You can get more energy on your Oracles, and therefore you can obviously harass with them more effectively. Very good in the early game, very good in the mid game, even very good in the late game too if you manage to keep them around for that long. And Hero has always been a fan of it. Now, he did mention that he thinks that the Oracle builds are across the board a little bit weaker now because of the fact that the Spore Crawler is a bit stronger. So the Spore Crawler has less HP, but it deals more damage. And because of that, Hero has been, yeah, he has been experimenting with Void Ray first. Okay, so that's what we're gonna go for here too. I actually don't know if I agree. Obviously, Hero is a much better player than I am, but I've seen quite a few games from the highest ranked Protosses in the world where they get ridiculous value with those, well, those Oracles. But Hero apparently not entirely in agreement there. He's been liking the Void Ray first quite a bit better. Sometimes he still follows it up with Oracles. Yeah, so it's probably going to be one Void Ray into double Oracle now. A little bit different. I feel like the Void Ray opener is okay if you can guarantee 2 Overlord kills. If you only get a single one, I don't love it. Gonna be hunting for another Ovi. This one will likely be the next target. Adepts in the meantime, though, being a little bit annoying. Zergling speed at this point is done, so I don't expect they're gonna get any additional kills in. Maybe they can just walk over here, shade backwards. Okay. They're gonna shade towards the natural, and that means they're gonna get sacrificed. Nice movement right here by Solar. Keeping the ball rolling. At least a little bit of scrambling, right? Quite a bit of lost mining time right here for the Zerg. Oracle? Okay. Ooh, very quick clicking right here by Solar, man. How do you morph in 4 structures that fast? One of them is an Evo chamber for some reason, taking up way more surface area. Everything gets cancelled except the one Spore. Keeping that one around for base defense. And then the follow-up right here for Hero is going to be Twilight Council into the good old Forge. He seems to be a fan of just going straight into that Blink Stalker. I mean, I did recently cast that series between Hero and Dark. That was one of the, like, I don't want to be mean about it, but that was one of the lowest level, high-level series of StarCraft I've casted in months. Like, both of them did play questionably. Let's call it questionably. And I wasn't a huge fan of the way that Hero was playing it out. I don't think the Blink Stalker follow-up is weak. I think it's good across the board, but he was just not playing it that well. So I'm hoping he can do a little bit of a better job right here against Solar, because he's just losing units left, right, and center. Not macroing very well. This is not the Hero we have all come to expect. I mean, to be fair, it's because of him that we have high standards, so, you know. If he would have played badly across the board for many years, look, nobody would have criticized his mistakes. But since he can do incredibly well, it does kind of suck sometimes to see somebody doing poorly. Anyways, this is obviously played about a week later than that series against Dark, and everybody's allowed to have an off day. For what it's worth, by the way, spoiler alert, he did win that series. With as poorly as Hero was playing in that series, he did actually win over Dark. Because Dark literally lost, what was it, like 22 drones to 3 adepts? You're like, Dark, what are we even doing? Like, did we go asleep? How did we lose that much to 3 adepts? Zergling speed was done everything, it just kept droning. Ay. Anyways, this is Void Ray into Triple Oracle, and the Void Ray did just allow the forced cancel on that 4th. So that's actually quite nice. Solar is following this up with Roach Hydra. Not a super common follow-up, it seems, in 2024. Most people enjoy that Mass Hydra style quite a bit, but we don't have a Ling Bane follow-up, and since we are going Missile, I think he probably wants to go Roaches and Hydralisks. That does mean, though, that these Stalkers are going to be able to put in quite a bit of work. And if you can force the cancel on this twice over, I would quite enjoy that. I think that would be really good for Protoss. Okay, yeah, nicely done. Second time that 4th base gets cancelled. And that really is slowing down the Zerg player a lot. Charge lot on the back of this. I wouldn't even mind seeing a 4th Nexus right about right now as well for Hero. I mean, he needs to be a little bit careful about the counterattack, I assume, but... Yep. Picks off a couple units. This is good. Robo Bay on the back of this too. Hero is going to be able to go into the Colossi. Excellent weapon of choice against, well, Hydra Ling. Roaches are, of course, a unit that can tank quite a few of those Colossi lasers. And there's the 4th Nexus coming up. So this 4th Nexus, I mean, not quite at the same timing as the Zerg's hatchery, but since the hatchery got cancelled twice, normally that Nexus doesn't start until the 4th base for Zerg is already done. In this particular instance, they're both building at the same time, so it's a good situation here for Hero. He does still need to be careful, though, because while he has slowed down the economy for the Zerg, this is still a Zerg player with 3 bases. And it's not like he's killed that many drones. Yeah, just 4 of them in total. It's a good start for Hero, but you can still get hit in the face very quickly if you're not paying very close attention. I like the transition here toward the Immortal already, too. Looks like we're going to go into Archons at the bare minimum, but maybe even Storm. Maybe Storm is a bit unnecessary if we're going into Colossi. Maybe a bit later would be good. Fighting over the bridge, by the way. I always like this bridge. Solar does not. Solar wants to go around the right side of the map. Now building a Infestation Pit 2 to maybe go into a transition towards Lurkers in the long run. We're still a whiles away, though, from that being a thing. Immortal in the front, a little bit exposed. Needs to bring that one back. We do have a shield battery. Looks like the Immortal is going to go down. And this is that hit, though, that I was talking about. Solar can still deal an awful lot of damage. This is just good old Roach Hydra. But since there's no Colossus out, no Robo facility units anymore at all, Robo also itself goes down. You gotta respect these Zerg units. They hit very hard. A little bit of derpage over here. He decides to fix the derpage by blinking all the Stalkers in. It's a brave move. But in the meantime, there's also a warp in up north. 3rd base of the Zerg in a little bit of trouble too. Looks like the blinking did work out. Hero, yeah, defends his base. Doesn't deal that much damage on the other side. But at the very least, he made it difficult for Zerg to reinforce it. And there has, of course, been a lot of, well, lost mining time there as well for Zerg. Even though he didn't kill any workers, or not a whole lot. Yeah, we have some significant dip-ins right there in the Zerg's income. Void Ray from the early game still helping out. Maybe not for much longer. Maybe? I mean, Void Rays kind of suck, don't they? Yeah, no, not really when it comes to fighting Hydras. It's just not their greatest thing. Okay, Fleet Beacon coming up. Sonic Storm on the production tab. Hero now with a superior economy. By a relatively small margin, but certainly not a bad economy. Still needs to be careful though. This is still a big Zerg army. It's just Roach Hydra. There's a reason Roach Hydra is the gold standard. Protoss is currently very disjointed. Storm is done. Storm is good against Hydra Ling, not so much against Roaches, although supplemental damage is good. Yeah. At the very least, it's gonna force those units to come in. Stalkers on the back trying to just poke off some, or poke away rather, at some of those retreating Zerg units. Suddenly they found themselves sandwiched. Okay, a couple of High Templar coming in close. Roach is somehow still remaining over here. High Templar, though, not good at tanking. Decides to morph them into Archons. Whew. A little bit of all army hotkeying here from Hero. Some of the High Templar derping forward. Some of the Oracles also ended up going down because of it. But there she is. Mama! Very good idea. Apparently we're not gonna chill, though. I wonder if maybe we should relax for a little bit, because you've just spent so much money on something that's not going to be available yet for another couple minutes. I think this is an overextension from Hero. Okay. Oh my god. Dude, I'm really liking... So this is something I didn't really consider when I first heard of the shield battery removal, like the overcharge ability removal and the energy recharge ability. But Protoss players have been playing so much more aggressively. Like, I'm looking at some of these fights that I think he's playing too aggressively. This is mostly just because they can't sit back and chill with the shield batteries as easily anymore. But, yeah, while it is going to take a little bit to learn exactly how far you can extend this type of army, it is really lovely to see. Oh, those storms. Oh, those storms were beautiful. Mothership is just about to be out. 400 minerals, 400 gas. But he doesn't need it. GG. Next up, we find ourselves on Frostlines. I'm hoping one day, speaking of computer cases, that we're gonna get those like mid-90s, maybe like late 90s beige computers back. You know, like maybe like a vintage look to your computer. Look, I don't want a ball mouse. I don't want my computer to make a whole lot of noise. Right? I don't need my computer to be quote-unquote thinking. Remember when hard drives used to think? They would just make random noises and you're like, haha, it's thinking. Right, I don't want that anymore. But I wouldn't mind that vintage base computer case back. It would be kind of nice. That's definitely gonna be a thing, by the way. Like, they're so ugly. I don't know why we all decided that apparently what we needed is this like beige computer case and this beige monitor. Everything was that weird off-colored beige. The mouse, the keyboard, the printer, like everything was beige. It's gonna be a computer hipster thing at some point. Maybe it already is. Maybe it already is. I wonder if they'll come with a turbo button. I know beige is once again very popular though in like you know, what do you call this? Like internal designs, right? In your homes and stuff. Like everything's beige. We went from gray to beige now. I don't mind beige personally. Maybe we're going back to that. The 90s aesthetic. Anyways. Nice game right there from Hero. Yeah, he called his mom. And his mom was like, yo, that's gonna cost you 400 minerals, 400 gas to call me. And he's like, oh, okay, fine, I guess I'll wait. And then when mom was just about to arrive on the battlefield, Solar decided that he didn't want to see him. He didn't want to see it at all. Maybe we can make it a little bit quicker this time around. This seems to be, by the way, the new standard for Hero. That Oracle, or like that Void Ray into Oracle, into Blink Stalker, into then eventually Robo Storm, and then the Mama ship. So it's not really a Mama ship that's meant to be with Skytles units. I think the transition after that would have been into Tempest. So ultimately the Mothership would be with Skytles, but initially it's that like ground-based Protoss army with the Mama ship. And I feel like that's almost like unexplored territory in the Protoss meta. It's very good. Because Hydras just don't really deal with the Mama ship. Like, it's interesting how the Mothership itself is a solid damage dealer now. Like, it actually deals a lot of damage. I think we're gonna see that a lot more over the next couple months, but only time will tell. I wonder if Hero has any range in his play, though, because now he's shown what he likes to do. Okay, yeah, we are gonna go straight Oracle this time around. You can't really play against Solar the same type of strategy 3 times in a row, because he will start countering it. So, it's those small deviations that make Protoss, I think, really strong. Like, broadly speaking, all the builds look identical. But sometimes you push with 2 Adepts, sometimes you push with 3, sometimes you push with 5. Sometimes you push with 2, and then you bring additional ones. Sometimes you go maybe Glaive Adepts. Sometimes you go and follow it up with triple Oracle, sometimes dual Oracle, right? Like, it's those small deviations that may not look like that big of an outcome. It's difficult here for the Zerg to really decide what the best choice is. Let's see. Revelation here. All right. Getting rid of the creep tumor. He's going to try and deny this base if he can. There's still a little bit of creep, though, so Brenda and Karen come running. Okay. Adepts not committing to the natural expansion. Second Oracle is out. Third Oracle is coming up. One thing I've noticed that MaxSpecs always does with his Oracles, and he seems to get an absurd amount of value, is rally the first 2 together and then bring the third one around at a different angle. So right now, the rally point here of the third Oracle is set onto the very first Oracle. So the Stargate is going to automatically rally the unit that's just about to spawn onto the third one, or onto the first one rather, but I would like to see Hero disconnect those 2 control groups. Then again, Hero doesn't really use control groups. Sorry, it wouldn't be a Hero cast, but I don't make fun of his all army hotkeying, okay? It needs to be done. He generally has 2 control groups, actually, for his army. But it is nice to have them split up. Like, I think this is very easy, at least at this level. Obviously, if you're a ladder hero, this is fine. But if you're a Solar here, you're having a much easier time dealing with 3 Oracles together, rather than 2 Oracles in one side of the map and another Oracle in another location of the map. Because now he just needs to track 1 group, rather than 2. Maybe splitting all 3 of them up is even better. Stalker on hold position. Okay, good. Adepts in the meantime commit in the natural expansion. Enough Lings available to keep them pinned away for now. Oracle sleeping on the job, though. We do need another warp in over here. Hero. Okay. Well, those Lings are going to be able to get in. Adepts in the meantime in the main base get surrounded. They do target fire a couple of those units, but the Oracles are not doing anything in the meantime. Now they're finally committing. Okay. Yeah, we always have the discussion whether or not MaxSpecs is the better Protoss in the world or if it's Hero. I feel like in this type of situation, MaxSpecs is substantially better. This is still good damage done right here by Hero, but it's a bit messy and a bit disjointed. At least the Oracles are home right now to defend against the Ling run by, because this is dealing too much damage. Yeah, this is actually really good now for Solar. So we did 9 workers, 9 drones worth of damage on the other side of the map, but then 12 probes end up falling at home. That is still not quite the ideal situation. It is once more, though, Blink together with +1 on the back of this. Solar has already adjusted from the previous game. He's going into +1 melee much sooner. And Zerglings are incredibly good with +1 upgrades. +2 makes them even better, obviously. Against Blink Stalker. Hydraling is actually going to hit like a truck in this game. Stalkers are just not that strong. So we have a photon cannon coming up. Hero does not know like whether or not there's a spire on the back of this. So he can't really be continuously seeing this. He didn't see this, the lair finish up, so he doesn't know what the follow-up from Zerg is going to be. All he's seen so far is Mass Ling. So if that's the case, your opponent may be even skipping a Roach Warren. You may be in some trouble against the Muta transition, and this is kind of like forcing out 2 Spore Crawlers, right? Like, it's expensive. You kind of need base defense around the map now as Protoss, but it's by no means free. There's the 4th hatchery. Can he once more get the council on that thing? That would be awesome. That's what really took the wind out of the sails of Solar in game number 1. Queens with lots of energy nearby, though, and Zerglings with +1 melee. No stasis wards anywhere. Oracles finally do show up. Revelation gets thrown down. Okay, there's a stasis ward. Okay, good movement here by Solar. He knows there's more. Okay, good movement. Lovely popping of those stasis. Forced to engage off creep, but not the end of the world. One thing I would like to see for Zerg, though, is +2 melee. Even though it's not as good anymore with Banelings like it once used to be, because obviously you can't one-shot probes like you could back in the day. Still really nice. Good spotting right here by Hero. He actually sees the 8 Banelings. Okay. Yeah, it's gonna be tough for Hero to get a 4th base going. He's thinking about building it over here. This feels like it's 17 miles away. We kind of need the expansion over here, I believe. Yeah, Hero's thinking the same thing right now. Solar already a step ahead, though, in that department. He's been scouting that location. There's Storm on the back of this again. A little bit quicker. Skipping the Robo Bay this time around. I feel like Robo Bay is stronger in this situation than it was in the previous game. There's the Banelings coming in from the left. Ooh. Okay. Alright, big stasis over here at the front. Hydras are trying to engage against the probes, but somehow all the workers actually stayed alive, -2. How did Hero just maneuver his way out of that? That was so clutch. Hero's so good in those situations, though. Like, as messy as his games can sometimes be, he's very good at just clutching out those crazy fights. I feel like we could have played that fight 17 times. And in almost every scenario, Protoss would have lost 20 workers. This is a bit of an overextension, though. The Stalker's not quite good enough. We need Storm. How many Templar are there? 0! Oh, no! Hero, we need some Templar. We have 4 Oracles. Sleeping on the job a little bit. There's finally a Storm. Yeah. You need some energy, right? Like, you can't just warp in and then instantly start storming. I mean, with the energy recharge you can, and that's what he used here. That's the only storms he's got, though. Solar keeps on fishing. He's looking for a good opportunity. Is this going to be the one where he can blow up the mineral line? Doesn't look like it, but the Hydras themselves are doing all right. Banelings are taking a long route around. Probes will be able to run away. Main fight in the meantime at the front has been won by the Zerg, but he's bled out a lot of units, too. Probes are going to be able to go back to mining. Okay, Hero's on the hunt. Trying to see if he can chase down those Zerg units. Hydraling Bane. It's just good old Hydraling Bane. Couple of creep tumors. I would love to see a group of zealots go around. No, not over here. They're going in the attack path. I mean, up around the top of the map. Because Solar doesn't have an easy roach army to, like, deal with any zealot run-bys. Oh. Sorry, how did that Templar die? Was there a Zergling there? Sorry, I backed up like 10 seconds. What just happened to that one Templar? I think it was a Zergling finishing the job. Yeah. I wasn't sure if he killed his own unit or if he walked into his own storm. But one Zergling, with its dying breath, ate up one more High Templar. The swarm is on its way, though. He's just rallying everything he's got across the map. Solar can focus all of his attention on this fight at the front, because there's no counterattacking going on at all. Hero's army is starting to fizzle out, and this is where the loss of shield battery overcharge is very noticeable. Then again, all those oracles have disappeared. I think you have to keep those oracles around for as long as possible. Honestly, as soon as the oracles died, this game was no longer in Hero's control. Probes in a world of trouble now too. At least they're hold positioning, trying to reduce the importance of their target, but Solar is just rallying everything that he's got around the map, sending everything towards the other side. Honestly, the economy here is still impressive for Heroes, trying to clutch out another defense. Okay, energy recharge would be lovely. Yep, there he goes. More storms available. Dude, imagine if you actually had 2 oracles around still. Ay, ay, ay. I know it's really hard to keep them around, but they put in so much work. Like, the stasis wards are just so precious. Storm? Big storm, big storm. Okay. Solar trying to see if he can break through this with his 17th attack. Is there enough now to start going after the probes? It looks like the probes had nowhere left to run. And that's what, well, Solar has been looking for a really long time. Hero realizes that there's no way he's gonna be able to get much done here. And that means we're gonna go to game number 3. Our final game for today, it's on Ley Lines. Solar so far with the never-ending mid-game that we've been seeing quite a bit from Zerg players in this matchup as of late. A lot of Zerg players not too keen on playing late game. I would love to see a quicker focus maybe from Hero into the style that we've been seeing a lot on the European server. So one of the more popular builds right now on EU is a quick transition towards Tempest. So the Tempest is now 1 supply less. It doesn't sound like a big deal, but it's actually a really powerful unit. And so far, the Solar builds that we've been seeing here are not quite prepared to deal with any sort of, well, I guess I could call it like a European-esque type of style. Like he's got a good number of queens and all that, but in a way, it seems to me, right, like the vibe I'm getting here from Solar's gameplay is that he's trying to avoid late game. And as Protoss, you kind of do have a way to skip the mid game and just go straight to a late game army if you want to. I'm sure Hero is well aware of that strategy, he's just not a fan of it, I guess. Once more opening Void Ray. Second gateway coming up. Oh. Oh. Hero. It's alright, but also it's unnecessary. Alright. Third base is gonna come up here at the appropriate time. 3:48 or so is very good. Yeah, there's 2 holes in the wall. Not quite ideal, but it's alright. So, Void Ray, killing 1 Overlord for now, and now it's been tasked with keeping the third base alive. Oracle goes in, but can't really do much here. Yeah. He's hoping to find almost like an anti-timing here where you can see a couple of those drones get rallied in. So far, not really achieving much. That's allowing Solar to hold down the drone button. Twilight Council, together with a Forge. So once more, essentially just an adjustment to what we used to see in this matchup for the last like half year or so. All very, very normal. Roach Warren coming up here for Solar. Stock standard. You can't really skip any of those Spore Crawlers anymore. He does need to make those, but it's alright. About a 5-minute lair. Once more though, we have all of those Adepts. And this is where the Void Ray is actually quite nice. 1 Oracle goes down. And that's immediately shifting this in favor of the Zerg. Maybe these Adepts can get something done? Not quite. I think that Shade should have been cancelled. Ugh. Yeah, this is a bit ugly. This is a bit ugly. I think that's probably the first worker kill that we've seen in this game. The Adepts are gonna take a little bit more mining time away here, but this is all a very good start right now for Solar, who gets to do whatever he pleases now. Killing that Oracle is probably the biggest thing. Okay, we're gonna try and do a little bit of a stasis ward, fair enough. What is Solar's weapon of choice going to be? It can be Roaches, it can be Hydras, it can be Lings, it can be Mutas, it can be a Nidus Worm, it can be a Queen March, it can be a Queen Drop, it can be a quick Hive. The world is his oyster right now. It's gonna be Roaches with speed. And +1 missile. And we do have an infestation pit too, so maybe he wants to go swarm hosts. I'm getting the vibe that he doesn't want to play late game, so I'm assuming it's going to be swarm hosts. If that's the case, we should probably see a Nidus network here as well in a moment. Oh, this is a good Zergling run by. Lucky for him. Oracles are close by. Stalkers here up north. Hero's still putting in the pressure, though. If you can get the council on the 4th base, just like what we saw in game number 1, that would be amazing. Couple of Zerglings going around the back. I don't think he's going to be able to achieve the council here. Maybe? Could also be a Hive, by the way. Hive into Vipers would also be a fine choice here for Solar. Hive into Lurkers, also a good option. There's the Hive. There's the ranged upgrade for the Hydralisks. Yeah, the 4th base lives. Now the question here for Solar is, when can you start droning up this base? Because if Solar is constantly under pressure, you can't really make that choice. He's spending his little bit of an advantage here into that tech instead. I don't think he can really afford much else. And we are indeed going to go into Lurkers. Okay. Little Ling run by over here, going after the Protoss' 4th base, which is, by the way, built in the direction of this Zerg. And once more, the best defense is the offense. In order to get that army off his back, the Zergling counterattack is going to be the weapon of choice. Robo facility coming up. +1 here, just about to finish as well for the Stalkers. Hydra speed comes up for Solar. Oracles. Was that one Oracle going down? Yeah. Oracle and Void Ray have disappeared. That is a little rough. But this is a hectic game now. Okay. Good control on the Stalkers. Little Zergling run by, because of course there's nothing in the holes. Okay, he decides to counterattack now. Continues fighting this army, but he needs his eyes set over here. Oh, army hotkey as well from Solar, it looks like. Or at least he just didn't feel like keeping those units in that main anymore. Maybe it's for the best. He already forced the Zealot Warp in. What Solar really wants, yeah, is a little bit of room to breathe to get a couple of those Lurkers out. So Lurkers are coming. Ranged for the Lurkers also on the production tab, the Seismic Spines research. In the meantime, we do have Storm also coming up here for Hero, together with the +2. Zealot run by here. I like that Zealot run by a lot. Could, yeah, pick off a couple of the Lurkers here. Not a bad play. Okay. Good councils right there by Hero. But ultimately, the Lurkers are now out. We do have a couple of the Oracles still around. Actually, it's 3 Oracles still, so he made a 4th one again. No, I quite like that. 4 Oracles. 4 Oracles. Ultimately, though, that Stalker army is going to be pushed back. Ah, now we're going to the +1 flyer upgrades together with Storm. No fleet beacon yet, no second starport yet, but I think they're going to be coming up momentarily. Hero does, of course, in the meantime have 4 base economy of his own. We're just going into the +1 air attacks for the time being. Forces the council on the hatchery over here by blinking up towards the high ground. Okay, good stasis. Good stasis. It's going to allow him to get most of that army out. A restarted attempt over there. Stasis ward over there too. Another big stasis ward. Stalker still dancing back. There's the fleet beacon together with the second Stargate. Now it's Solar though, who's on the hunt. He knows he's got some time here before that Stargate army is ready to go. And he's got a really nice Lurker set of upgrades here. Adaptive Talents is the burrow upgrade. This will be the last time that these Lurkers burrow slowly. Oracles, a little too far forward. Revelation is critical, although there is an Observer in the mix. He's trying to create a choke on that 4th base. He's trying to cut off the Protoss units from going in that direction. Lurkers moving forward. Blinks aggressively into this army. Okay, is there enough, though, for the Protoss to break through this? I'm not entirely convinced that there is, but apparently Hero feels like this is his opportunity to shine. He is going to be able to push back the majority of those units, but now some of the Zerg reinforcements are showing up. Nanomuscular swell as well on the back of this. That's that Hydra lunge ability. And Solar is going to slowly move a couple of those units forward like they're siege tanks. Sieging them up a little bit closer by. Okay, siege up on the Overseer, or the Observer rather, as well. And it's going to allow those Zealots, together with the leftover Stalkers, to kill all of this. Robo Facility in the meantime goes down. Mothership, by the way, just about to come out together with 2 Tempest. I don't think Solar knows yet about the Skytles transition, but when you see Protoss not really have a lot of stuff, and when you see the Cybercore spinning, it's pretty clear that something like that is on the way. A lot of money, by the way, for Hero in the bank. Why are we sitting at 1,200 minerals? That's a little bit too much. We need to probably do some warp-ins. I don't think he's missed... Yeah, I think he's missed like 1 big round of warp-ins. It's going to make it really difficult for him to spend his money, especially now with the Robo Facility going down. Suddenly, the Zerg infestation's everywhere. There's that lunge ability available. Mothership spawns and immediately activates its cloaking. That's going to force this Zerg army to run. I don't think there's enough Hydras to kill this. The Mothership itself deals a lot of damage, man. Time Warp coming up. That reduces movement speed, but also attack speed by 50%. In the meantime, though, there's Zerglings all over the map, just trying to be a nuisance. 30 probes have already gone down. Solar sacrificing this army, it seems, but he's dealing a lot of economical damage in the meantime. Probes in the natural expansion are next. Third base is gonna go down as well. New Hydras and Roaches and Zerglings and anything that Solar can make are coming up. 44 workers go down, and even though the Mama Ship is here... I wonder if Hero would not have missed one of his rounds of warp-ins there. It would have been better. Like, he was sitting on, like... I think at his peak, like, I wasn't paying attention to the mineral count the entire time, but... I think he must have been sitting at, like, 1,600-ish resources at some point. That's too much. Obviously, the macro in those situations is quite a bit easier for Zerg than it is for Protoss, because you can just macro while you're looking at the fights, and for Protoss, you have to actually physically warp in units. Yeah, really well done here by Solar, though. I haven't seen too many of Solar's games as of late, but he certainly still has it. Keep in mind that Zerg can no longer abduct the Mama Ship. It's one of the big changes with the new patch. We can still abduct the Tempest, though. Yeah, pretty good. Oh. The lunge ability got activated, but the Hydras didn't even move. Mama Ship itself trying to... Look at it, 17 kills. Pre-patch Mama Ship never got that many kills. Alright. Ultimately, Solar is deciding to just go home and at least chill for a little bit until the Spire is done. This is why I love the new Tempest and Mama Ship trends. Oh, well, if he sees an opportunity, he's gonna grab it. This is why I like the transition to our Skytles so much, though, because it's forcing Zerg to go into a Spire. There is no way to counter this with Hydras. I mean, unless Protoss overextends, right, or mispositions their army, I guess it's technically possible, but it's just not a good idea. Zerglings take the long route around, and they do find the bases once more mostly exposed. Storm available because he got that energy recharge ability. Nicely done right here by the Protoss player, but I've got a feeling his economy is in tatters right now. There's really just not enough that he can make. It's not like Solar's economy is booming. It's not like Solar has that much to macro with, but once he gets like 10 Corruptors out, which he's going to be able to make right about right now, yeah, it's going to be amazing. Starts up +1 flyer. He's not entirely certain whether or not he's going to have enough to punch the Protoss player out of this game here. So he decides to just make 1 less Corruptor and add 1 additional upgrade. That upgrade is going to take a while to finish. I don't think you want to be giving Protoss that much time. It's a lot of Storm, though. Another Lurker coming up. I think Solar is waiting for those Corruptors, and then he's going to go. Carrier coming up. Hero smashed his piggy bank, could just barely afford 1. Hits a massive supply block, by the way, upon starting the second one. A little bit sloppy there. Hero not enough supply here to actually begin it. Doesn't realize it. Doesn't start up any pylons. He's busy microing over here. Now the Corruptors are available, though. And I think, yeah, you just pick off the units and wait, right? Like, you just slowly go in, wait for the right time. High Templar at this point have mostly been destroyed. Is there still enough for the Protoss player to keep his army away? Mothership itself taking a lot of damage right now. Roaches and Hydras decide to go through the bubble. There's the Mama Ship going down. I believe that's a -400, -400. Tempest also are going to be next with those big flying units out of the sky now. I think the rest of the Zerg army is going to be impossible to keep at bay. I guess now at least the second the second carrier could start up. Hero never made another pylon, but it's not gonna be enough here. Those units will not be able to finish. GG is called. It's Solar who wins the series 2-1.